Morning, you lovely, lovely people. Beautiful morning today. But we've got some wind, so can't go fishing, people. Piggy, which will be ready for the fiesta in 3 weeks. It's the way it is in the Philippines, people. There's no, I couldn't do it. That's why I don't have pigs. Anyway, this video, I think, is it's just common sense, really. And what I'm going to say is, I see sometimes on these vlogs, other people's vlogs, where they are handing out things, sweets, what have you, food parcels. And this is foreigners, this is not Filipinos, people, okay? Filipinos is different, it's different. But for us foreigners, especially with what's just happened with this, the American pasta. So what I'm going to say is, and I think it's just common sense, is don't be a do-gooder. And I mean that by not giving things out to kids. As much as you feel you want to, because they look quite deprived and poor, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. Because a simple allegation and you are in big problem. You are in big trouble. I've seen it on some other vloggers' videos where they've got all these kids around them and they're giving out little food parcels or sweets, ice cream or something. Look, as much as it's innocent and you think you're doing good, really what you're doing, you're bringing attention to yourself. You're simply bringing attention to yourself that you don't need. Really, people, honestly. When I'm in Dipolog and here in Pinion where I am, you don't see any kids begging. You don't see it. But in Dipolog, you do. And they can be anywhere. For an example, me and my wife was in McDonald's, I think, Saturday. And there's a couple of kids outside. And they were looking in the window at me and my wife eating. And they were after money. Or something. So, rather than me, which I don't do it, give, my wife does. I keep away from all of that stuff. Because I don't want no attention. I don't want people saying, oh, look at that, foreigner giving the kids, something to eat or giving them money. It's innocent. Yes, of course it's innocent. But it only takes an allegation. It only takes an allegation. So rather than put yourself in that situation, don't do it at all. Don't do it at all. If you want to give kids something, do it through your partner. But don't you be seen doing it. There's a law here, and it's pretty strict, and it's about foreigners with kids. It says about not leaving the kids under the age of a certain age with foreigners and stuff. I don't quite know what it's all about, but it does exist. It does exist. And I've had some comments, not on this video or the previous video, but videos way back when there was something similar. I can't think what the video was about. And some of these Filipinos were saying about this law. Again, I don't know what it is, but it might be worth looking up. In other words, it's not good for a foreigner to be seen with kids. It's really not. It's not. And as I said, it's innocent. Yes, of course it is. You feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them. I do, seriously. When I see some of these kids and that with no shoes and slippers on and they kind of, tugging at your t-shirt, I do feel sorry for them. But I've got to think of me. And I've got to think of, if an allegation was made against me for me giving out things to kids and I'm arrested, then who's going to take care of my family here? You've got to... Even if you haven't got a family, it's just not worth getting yourself in that, because you'd be in a tight spot. You would be in a tight spot. So just don't do it, people. You know, this American guy, I've been reading a bit more about it, and it's, you know, when they went for the kids, to take the kids away from this ministry, I suppose, the kids didn't want to go. They were crying and didn't want to go. And this minister or pastor, he's claiming his innocence. And apparently, you know, when this place has been checked before, they found nothing. You know, they found nothing that was untoward. So again, we don't know if this guy did anything or if it's just an allegation from a disgruntled person who works for him or did work for him in the church. We simply don't know. And we can't point fingers unless the evidence is there. So although, you know, me as well, I said it's terrible, it's this, it's that. If he did it, if he did it, look, we foreigners, anything that we do here is always highlighted. It's always highlighted. There's many it's like when I see when I see Filipinos weeing in the street, they do. It's just what they do. You know, if they drive in or anything, they're having a drink, they will just stop their tricycle, stop their bike, stop their car and have a wee at the side of the road or anywhere. Now, that's all well and good for Filipinos, but if we did that and the police went past or something like that, we would probably get arrested. So I never do it. As much as, you know, I'm down for a wee sometimes when I'm having the drink with the lads, you know, I will find somewhere that is very, very secluded if there's no toilet available, if we're drinking outside of Sari Sari or something. I do what I need to do to keep myself off the radar. No foreigner here wants attention to themselves. They simply don't. And there is a vlogger. I can't remember the name of his site. I don't really want to mention it, but even if I didn't, I know what it was. When he came to the Philippines, I think many years ago, he had nothing. He had no money. He was living on a very, 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 very small pension with his girlfriend or wife. Now, what he's done, he's built up an empire. He's got land now. He's got apartments. Now, I think this has all been done through donations, because he was seen to be helping kids. He was seen to be helping kids. And now, as I said, he's got like a little mini empire. I think it's in, I don't know what island it's, well, I do know what island it's on, but I don't want to say anything because it might pinpoint who I'm talking about. But you've only got to do a little research on the internet, on YouTube, and you will know. Now, first off, I think at that time he didn't have any permanent residence. I don't know if he's got one now. So even charity work for a foreigner here, if we are on a tourist visa, is not legal. You can't do any kind of work for a Philippine-based company or for a Philippine-based charity. You can't do it. Even if you're not getting paid, even if it's voluntary. Not unless you're a minister or, you know, you're in the ministry and those come over here with I don't know what visa it is, but it's a visa which allows them to do what they're doing. Now, when I was watching this guy, and I was in England, so this was 8 years ago, and he had nothing, people. He had nothing. He had a beaten up old Suzuki pickup thing. Now he's driving around in a Raptor, I think it is, like a big 4-wheel drive expensive vehicle. And he's got he's got these apartments that he rents out, and he's got this, he's got that, he's got everything. Now, how did he get that? How did he get that? Well, he didn't go through his pension, and he didn't come into money, from his own country. He did it through pulling heartstrings. That's what he did. He was pulling heartstrings here. People from the church, and people from the church are normally very generous people. You know, they give charity. You know, they give money to the charity, and that's what was happening. Now, he's obviously been siphoning off money. It's obvious, otherwise he wouldn't have what he had. If he was just doing what he was meant to be doing, which was feeding the homeless, feeding the unfortunate kids and building little houses for these unfortunate families, how would he get this mini empire that he's got? He's got it because he's siphoning off money. Scamming. That's exactly what's happened. Now, how he hasn't been, and there's other vloggers who's talked about this in the past, years ago, saying he's a scammer. How he's got away with it for so long, I will never know. I will never know. So, again, with some people, they can get away with it. But why would you want to put yourself in a situation where you could have a simple allegation, someone makes a statement at the police or the barangay, that's it, bang. Where's my jacket's by my feet, look. There he is. He's by the feet. Why would you want to do such a thing? Again, it's common sense. It's common sense. And us foreigners, when you've been here for quite a while, because, when you do come here, first off, the first time you ever come to the Philippines, especially in places like Manila, in the slum areas, and you'll see all of these kids, families, who haven't got anything. And what do you want to do? You want to fix the world, because you are a foreigner and you've got a little bit of money. So the first thing you want to do is, oh God, I've got to help them, I can help them. Not the thing to do, as much as you want to do it. If you do something like that, do it through your wife or your partner. Don't get involved, don't even show your face. Don't go anywhere near, which is I do now with my wife when she goes, when we're outside McDonald's or, we see a couple of kids that are begging with no shoes and dirty clothes. I don't go anywhere near, but my wife does. Not all the time, because my wife can spot it if it's, because here as well, people, what happens is, which, my wife was saying to me, sometimes the kids are abandoned, or they are left with an uncle or an auntie where the parents have just gone and they've gone to work in Manila or something. So the kids are left to fend for themselves. Now, I remember once here, and I was with my wife, but then we weren't married, and I was fishing. And this lad come up, and he seems a nice little lad, and my wife was there, and he didn't ask for no money, didn't ask for anything, and he was talking to my wife, and he just disappeared. Now, I wasn't paying attention, I didn't take no note. He took all of my lures. He took all of the lures in a box. Why, I don't know, probably going to sell them to a fisherman. I don't know, and I thought, that's why he didn't ask for anything. That is one of them things, So again, you've got to watch as well. You've got to watch. You've got to watch everything that goes on around you here. And I'm not making it out to be a bad place, because it's not just the Philippines where you get all... I've seen them in England. I saw this guy in England, and this is a true story. And he was sat outside of an ATM machine. And he was sat outside of an ATM, this particular ATM machine, every day with his dog. Okay? And he had a placard that he'd wrote out, and he said, I'm not lazy, I'm looking for work, but I can't find work. If you spare any change, it will help me. Now, I did, many times. Many times. I used to put a bit of change in it. And then somebody said to me, that guy, they said, I look at his shoes, like his trainers, and he had the top pair of Nikes on. And they were new. But what he used to do is cover them up with a blanket. And apparently, this guy was a professional beggar. He was a professional at it. And he lived in a house. He had a house. I don't know if he had a family. I don't know. But this guy had more money than most of us. He was a professional at doing it. Here, I'm not saying the kids are professionals. What I'm saying is, the parents sometimes send them out. Go out, and if you see a foreigner, go and attach yourself to a foreigner, because they've got money. That's how they think. And not just foreigners, but also, I've seen them begging to Filipinos as well. And what I have noticed is the Filipinos normally always give. They normally always give something. And I feel a bit bad sometimes, because if my wife isn't with me and they come up to me, I just walk away. And I said, you know, like I said, while I suckly, which means I haven't got no change. That's what I say, because I don't want to. It's innocent. Yes, of course it's innocent. But I don't want to draw attention to myself. So rather than draw attention to myself, I simply don't give. If I'm on my own, if my wife's with me, don't mind, because she does it. It goes through my wife. Now, before I go, there was a calamity. There's many calamities here when it rains and it floods. And the people who live by the river, there is a fishing place here where it's all fishermen. They've got their boats and they go off fishing for their day's feed, if you like. Now, this place was flooded and the people had to leave their home. Me and Mira, at the time, we didn't have the car. I had a motorcycle. So we drove past them. So all these people at the side of the road with not cases, but sacks of clothes and everything. I said, Mira, what's going on here? And she said, people down there where I live by the river, the houses have been flooded. And they've got nothing. They can't go out fishing because the boats have been destroyed as well, or most of them. So I said, can't we give them something? Like some rice. She said, no, Stephen, no. She said, if you do that, then it'll get around. Or the foreigner came here with his wife and they've been given rice and things like that. I did it once with my wife. I didn't go. I just stayed on my motorcycle. My wife went in. And she had some little packets made up, and there's a couple of tins of sardines and some beef loaf and a kilo of rice. And she gave that to about 20 families, so they all had a kilo of rice each and whatnot. But I never did it again. Because I'm thinking, I can't fix the world. As much as I want to do something, I can't, and I don't want. And this thing yesterday, or whenever it happened with this. It kind of highlights it. It highlights it because when you get even accused of something like that, even if you're innocent, shit sticks. Shit sticks, people. And even if you get off with it, people will say, did he do it? Did he do it? Or did he not do it? Don't put yourself in that situation to even get an allegation made against you. That's it, people. I just thought I would say that. It's common sense, I know, but I just thought that I had to get that off my chest. And my wife's got music on. Oh, well, only because it'd be copyrighted, won't it? No consideration for the YouTuber. Anyway, oh look, these lemons coming. Many. We got many coming. Many. They everywhere. Look, many coming. Again, this is the third crop from this. Many. Oh, there's one here that she's missed. Here, look, big boy. Anyway, people, I'm going to go, and whatever you're doing today, try and do it well, and take care. Thank you, people. Bye-bye.